This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Tom, do you have a least favorite airline and airport that you have to frequent every once in a while?
That's a good question. I've gotten tangled up in many airports and had long waits in security. I know in Raleigh, North Carolina, in 2008 at the tournament, long wait, and then Denver, we had a long wait. But I don't know. I'm not going to bag too hard on the airports. It's a tough go of it right now in the airline industry. So, but I know there's a lot of stories that exist of lost luggage and all that kind of stuff. But I haven't had too many horror stories.
Well, one horror story for this Arkansas basketball team last night. Offensively, they pretty much got over whatever they wanted for the first 35 minutes of the game. Slowed up a little bit when they went to stall ball. But, Tom, when you look at this team playing maybe their best two games outside of the Duke and Purdue wins earlier this season, what do you feel like they can sustain this level of play? Or are we making too much out of these last two games?
Well, I mean, I think you have to applaud any turn of events, and certainly their competitive fire has been sustained longer in both of these games. And, you know, we talked about it on here just a couple of weeks ago about how Eric Musselman was looking for combinations and he wanted to reduce his bench. And, you know, you don't want injuries, but sometimes that makes things happen. And now with Brazil out and Devo off the team, the bench has been shortened, and it's been more functional, it looks like. And they've made some decisions at point guard. L. Ellis didn't play last night. They went with Blocker, and he and Minifield ran the point very well. So I hate to see it for the kids because, you know, they're trying hard and all that kind of stuff. But I think the reduced bench has helped them. And I think being a more physical team. And now this has happened against one of the better teams in the league, Kentucky, and then one of the worst. So I do think against LSU, and this is going to be a really weird matchup in that LSU's had all week to get ready for this game.
Yeah.
So we'll see what transpires in Baton Rouge, but I think the reduced bench and more physicality, and I told you guys probably 3 weeks ago, they've got to get more out of Makhi Mitchell. He is a key element in whether they're going to get their season turned around. And by gosh, double-doubles in back-to-back games, that's meaningful.
All right, so let's talk about that. Tom Murphy with us here on the McLarty Daniel Hotline. Was last night more of a sign of the matchup and you know who you were playing and who Mitchell matched up against, or is what we're seeing sustainable out of Makhi Mitchell moving forward for the balance of the SEC slate?
Well, his minutes. Well, first of all, Missouri didn't have anybody who could match him physically. I mean,
right.
Connor gave them some scoring, but Makhi just powered it in on him. And the other guys, they really couldn't slow him down. I mean, they even brought the 7-2 guy in. And he was actually helpful to Missouri for a little bit. But I think his drive is there, and his rebounding prowess was on display. And certainly he's kicked it into gear more, and I think we'll see better play from him the rest of the year.
Yeah, we were commenting earlier on the lack of three-point shooting, which seemed to fuel a lot of that offensive flow and sharing the basketball. Just 6 3-point attempts on 61 attempts in the ball game. They made 4 of them. Tom, it's not like but what that tells me is when they did take a three, they weren't necessarily settling for a bad look, and they got good looks if you made 4 of 6. So I don't know how that fits into the future game plans, but I like that number last night.
Well, it was a really good number, 66%. Battle had the early one that helped. Mizzou didn't use its zone as much as I thought they would, and Arkansas did a good job at getting the penetration to the elbow and making some elbow jumpers. I know Mark did, Makhi Mitchell did, made some jumpers, and it prevented Missouri from running that zone that I thought had been pretty effective in the last couple games. Certainly in the South Carolina game, it slowed them down, and it messed A&M up a few games ago. So, I mean, there will be a game coming up soon where your volume of threes has to go up to increase your scoring. But if they can be as effective with their jumpers and such, getting to the free throw line, then you don't have to use the threes as much. And between Minifield and Battle, you got decent looks. And there's more in the tank for Davenport. His minutes were 14, and he didn't contribute. He had a couple turnovers, but we know he can be a dangerous 3-point shooter as well. So, but last night it certainly fit the game plan when they scored a season high in points in the paint, 56.
Yeah, most in 10 years apparently. Chuck was saying on the post-game broadcast. Tom, the combination of Layden Blocker and Keon Minifield hadn't been played a lot this season. It was last night. Missouri has some smaller guards. Does Arkansas have the ability to play those two guys on the floor the rest of the 10 games, or is that just based on matchups, in your opinion?
Well, I think it's one of the combinations. It's a possibility for sure, because I think Minifield could be a good off-ball guy, and Blocker brought him some energy. That rebound play was a hustle play at the end of the clock in the first half was 2 big points, and I think they can get away with playing those two guys in certain situations, for sure. And there was 2 big. To me, there was 2 big runs. The 8-0 run that made it turned it from I think 20 to 12. From 12 to 10 to 20 to 10. Got separation, and then late in the first half, the last 4 minutes, they outscored them. I think 12 to 2. That gave them a 19-point lead. So the shooting was on. Their defense was better connected. Their penetration and dish was good last night with all the dunks. Then he wound up with 9 dunks. I think Chandler Lawson even could have given them some good minutes too. But with Makhi Mitchell and Graham playing as well as they did, Lawson's minutes were down too. But all 3 of those guys had really nice shooting percentages.
So what's happened with the Arkansas front court? Because this was a front court that for the first third of conference play was really getting pounded, and last 2 games they've been doing the pounding. What's changed in your opinion?
I wish we could see every minute of practice or know what's happened that's turned things around a little bit there. But certainly the rebounding has been better. There's some games where they were just flat out blown out on the boards early in conference play. But, yeah, I think that trio could give you some mileage as they get deeper into the schedule, starting with LSU on Saturday.
Tom Murphy with us here on the McLarty Daniel Hotline, Whole Hog Sports, Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Tom, earlier in the show, we were talking about college football coaches potentially moving on to the NFL, like head coaches taking coordinator jobs. I know that's something that might happen in the near future. Do you think we're going to see an increase in that, or is it going to be typical for maybe what we've seen the last 10 years or so?
I don't know. There could be some trends. Some oncoming trends with the NIL. I think NIL and just the way the game is doing now might have contributed to Nick Saban making his decision to retire. But that's a good question, and I think it's certainly a potentiality of happening that coaches get tired of having to. This is a pressure-filled game to begin with, and then when you add in kids coming in and saying, well, I got offered $20,000 more over here, and having to deal with that is a whole new level. And you know the frustration in many, many quarters regarding these kind of decisions, like Lane Kiffin. Now their collective seems to be doing well with the haul they landed in the offseason. So I don't know. I think there's certainly the potential for more and more college coaches to make that move. And I am so sorry. I've got some kind of sinus infection like I've never had before.
I was going to ask you, you okay? You don't sound like your typical self like you do each Tuesday and Thursday.
I've got blockage. I need to go in and get a sinus cocktail today. This is not good.
Well, Tommy, I learned from you earlier this week. You got your doctor to sign a prescription to get a Z-Pack or something.
Yeah, you got to get that. I think the shot in the butt and then a medicine ball from Starbucks will fix you right up.
Did you get one of those for Lauren and the kiddos?
No, I haven't yet.
Okay, Tom. Apparently, we did go
to the doctor.
We had the CEO of Call Your Drug text you. I think you can get one from Call Your Drug directly if you want to do that, because I know it's a hassle when you have to make a couple different pit stops or whatnot. But you mentioned collectives. Have you got a chance to read what's going on in Knoxville with their, I think it's Sphere is their collective, and Nico, their quarterback, what's been going on with recent developments in the NCAA?
Yeah, I have skimmed over that, and it looks to me like the NCAA has gotten tired of being the punching bag. I mean, we've taken our shots at them, and I saw Tommy and I, from the very beginning, used the Wild West terminology, and that was in the statement from the NCAA yesterday. So maybe there's going to be a little bit more teeth to what the NCAA is doing, because to say the game is out of control, I don't know if that's putting it lightly, man.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.